Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to PyroFalkon Plays SimCity 2013. I keep calling it that just because, you know, I don't know why I keep calling it that. It bothers me when companies... wow, I'm like starting a rant immediately and didn't even frickin' realize I was going to go in that direction. Anyway, I hate it when companies pretend that we don't have a sequel when we very clearly have a sequel, although this is... You know, I've said before, as much as I enjoy the game and my semi-employment with IGN may indicate otherwise, I really don't dig companies who try to pull mind games and all that crap. I'm not an EA apologist. I know that a lot of the stuff they do is shady or downright stupid. But anyway, and that's one of the things that bothers me. I hate it when companies don't... Like the new Tomb Raider. It's just called frickin' Tomb Raider, but it's like Tomb Raider 10. And that's probably one reason why companies aren't calling it, or aren't giving it those numbers, because they don't want people to realize that they're playing the same bloody game they played a while ago. Okay, that rant is over. Although I do have another one. Now that I thought about it, I will actually talk about IGN real quick. I was actually going to do this as a face cam, like a vlog kind of deal, but this is a good spot to do it because this is SimCity. Although, as before, I'm going to quickly mention that the first thing I'm going to mention is my plan for the city here. We have made enough oil that I have a petroleum HQ. I can build one somewhere, which I'm going to do, so we can make fuel, so we can start cashing in the big bucks. See, the HQ doesn't have to be near the oil wells. Where can we... Oh! Hey, that's a good spot for it. How's our sewage? Because that's right next to where I'm dumping sewage. Oh, I got plenty. Wow. Sweet. Okay, that works. Okay, so in order to upgrade it, I need $160,000 daily profit, which can also mean monthly profit, which whatever. Let's check our budget bar, and we see that in the month I have made $101,000. So I'm not quite there yet, but I'm getting there, and more to the point, this oil well does not have maximum pump jacks. Now what I might do, and what I mentioned a few episodes ago, is having more trade depots helps sell more oil in a day, because each trade depot ships 1,000 barrels every hour. So 3 trade depots, you have triple the sales. You have triple the sales if you can keep up production, which hopefully we can. All right, so all right, but we're gonna have to start making some cash here, because once again my hourly is 1,280 in the hole, but we are starting to get some medium density houses going on here. So hopefully once this building, or these buildings, are constructed, we'll be raking in some cash. So I'm gonna get a triple speed while I talk about IGN. And the reason I'm gonna talk about it is I'm going to tell you the thing that I find the single most offensive thing that people tell me whenever I do a review. And which sounds weird as a starting topic, but there we go. So the single most offensive thing I find, or rather that I am accused of when I do reviews, is that I am paid, or rather paid off to give a game a specific grade. And I get it, and because there was that big scandal with GameStop, and I forget who the writer was, and I believe he was fired from GameStop. Wait, not GameStop, GameSpot, excuse me. GameSpot, IGN's competitor. He was fired from GameSpot for giving Kane and Lynch, the sequel to Kane and Lynch, a bad review, even though it was his honest opinion. I think he gave it a 6 out of 10. And Really? Well, you haven't heard this story before? Rachel has not heard this story before. Okay, so just in case you haven't either. Yeah, this guy, a reviewer for GameSpot, was fired. Of course, GameSpot said, no, it had nothing to do with the review. At first, they said that. But after GameSpot was bought out by another company and the guy moved on to a different company and the non-disclosure agreement expired and all that, it did come out that, yes, he was fired for giving Kane and Lynch a 6.0 when the website itself had advertisements running for Kane and Lynch. And Eidos, the developer, basically gave a nice little hint to GameSpot that they would really appreciate it if that particular author didn't review their games anymore. So they fired him. And, so there was this, obviously, that, what the hell? Wow, that's weird. Okay. Yeah, that's strange. I should not be able to do that. That's a bug. Oh well, I'm taking advantage of it. Because I was able to build an oil well, or an oil pump jack for this oil well, even though the service road is not touching it. Anyway, so he was given the axe, and obviously this is a huge scandal. This completely destroys journalistic integrity, what little of it there is anyway, by public perception of the video game industry. And, obviously that's a bad thing. Everyone in this triad of people, the fans, the developers, and journalists, should all have integrity and be open and honest with each other. But, I mean, at this point, asking for the world to all get along and be honest with each other is like me asking for Rosa Mendez's phone number for her to just spontaneously quit WWE and come here and be my sex slave for the rest of our lives.
Just gonna get you punched in the face.
So, nice. So, but anyway, the point is, so I've been accused of giving reviews to games that either I'm rating them too high or too low. Ooh. We need a new truck here. New delivery truck. And I take offense to that because I don't. I do not, and will never, in fact, for that matter, accept money to give a game a review, positive or negative. If you read any of my reviews on IGN.com, again, my real name there, it's either John Habib if you're reading the old ones, or John Michael if you're reading the new ones. It's my honest opinion, period. And whether that's good or bad or whatever, it is what it is. And there have been reviews that I've regretted. Like, for example, I gave Cities XL, I think I gave it an 8.0 out of 10. And after certain things, after I played it a bit longer, after the review was posted, I felt I overrated it. I felt that it should have been a little lower. And there were games that I under-review, or that I gave a bad review and later thought, maybe it could have gone another point or two, or half a point or two, But, those are varied based on patches and whatnots, and, that's everyone, you can look back on what you've done and decide that you did or did not do a certain thing that you should have or shouldn't have. But, that's not here or there. My overall point is that initial score, and especially the review, the words of the review, reflect how I feel about that game. And there's in fact, I will even tell you, there is one review that I was talked down from a score. And the game was called The Book of Unwritten Tales. It's an adventure game that I absolutely freaking loved. And I wanted to give it an I wanted to give it a 9.5 out of 10. And the IGN, my boss, essentially, talked me down to a 9.0 because he thought that the words of my body of the review weren't 9.5 territory. Like, that means I wasn't praising it hard enough if I was going to give it a 9.5. And I accepted that, although frankly, again, looking back, I probably should have fought harder because, again, I wasn't paid by the company who made the Book of Unwritten Tales. I don't even remember who the company's name is. IGN does pay me. They pay me a flat fee for a review, regardless of my score of it. And, but, you know, that was a game I truly, absolutely freaking loved. Enough that I want to do a Let's Play of it, and I still might. So, you know, so if you ever read any of... Now, I'm not speaking for the other editors, and I'm not going to try... I'm not going to try to stir the pot. I'm not trying to cause controversy. All of these opinions are mine. They don't represent IGN, and they don't represent any of the writers of IGN either. So, I mean, I almost want to say a disclaimer, but saying it in my head makes it sound like I'm attacking IGN, so I'm not going to say it. But my point is, for me, if you read any of my reviews, or if you listen to my words here on YouTube, I'm not paid by anyone, and I could care less, because money really, you know, it's not worth it. It's not worth lying, because as soon as you lose the trust of people, then it's gone. It's just straight gone forever. And, you know, you don't have anything else left. You have nothing left when you lose trust. And so, but I'm trying to remember what game it was that it really offended me that people thought I was paid off because of how... I think it was Cities XL, actually, because Cities XL, like I said, I gave it an 8.0, and it was only after the review was uploaded and after I spent more time with it, and honestly, after I read some comments, I realized that the developers who made Cities XL actually kept some of the features out of single player. It was similar to this SimCity in the sense that you had buildings you had to build, you had resources you had to manage, and you had to trade with other players online. But unlike SimCity, in order to trade with players online, it was a subscription service. You actually had to pay like $8 a month to trade with people on Cities XL. And at the time, I said, you know, that's okay, whatever, it doesn't matter, it's another service, you can almost treat it like an MMO. But on further reflection, it turned out that the developers actually kept certain buildings away from you. Like, you couldn't access certain heavy buildings unless you played multiplayer, unless you paid that $8 a month fee. And that's just false advertising and bad. And when a company pulls tactics like that, that's actually the job of video game journalists to point that out, to call them on their bullshit, and to make sure that, you know, our score reflects that. But when I played like 98% multiplayer, because that was what the game was revolved around, and I did mess around a little bit in single player, but they also intentionally designed single player that not only could you not get all the best buildings, but you couldn't trade resources all that efficiently either. And so rather than putting that in my review like I should have, I just kind of shrugged it off and went, whatever, I must be playing it wrong. And, you know, I apologize for that. Like, if I make a straight mistake like that, then that's on me. And that's my integrity, my mistakes. But it has nothing to do with whether the company pays me. It has nothing to do with, you know, anything like that. I simply made a mistake, and you know, it's over. We're done with it. Cities XL folded quickly. I mean, they made a few sequels, but all of the crap that they were doing, there was the backlash, and it the players who bought Cities XL realized it, and you know, they made sure none of that crap happened again, as far as I know. Honestly, I haven't played any of the newer Cities XLs anyway, because at the end of the day, I found it less entertaining than SimCity 4. So, you know, I had nothing, you know, I had no reason to go back to it. But yeah, I'm just saying, so that's the thing that always bothers me. And it would bother me here in YouTube if someone actually commented that they thought that I was paid for what I say during these, oops, shoot. If I was paid for what I've said during any of these Let's Plays. I mean, for better or for worse, what you hear from me here is my honest opinion. And if you don't like it, you can always find another Let's Player to listen to. There are plenty of us out here. And with that, I've gone over my 15 minutes, but I also have some jackass revving his engine, like right outside my window. Asshole. Anyway, I'm done ranting. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you tomorrow for another episode. Bye.